Hi guys, Miss Novello talking to you about basic watercolor painting techniques. So the first technique we're going to talk about is wet on dry. And that is basically known as glazing or layering wash. It's a wash that's applied to a dry surface. So the dry surface in this case is our paper. We are going to apply wet paint onto our dry surface. And when you are painting wet paint onto a dry surface, the color is usually vivid. It's a lot more controllable within the space because it is not getting spread out amongst other water. The next technique is wet on wet, and this is painting on a wet surface. So our wet surface is going to be with just water. And then you're going to let the colors blend as they may. So you paint into the wet paper and you let the colors run where they may. All right, the next technique is a gradation or a graded wash. And it's a wash which the value gradually changes from dark to light. And so we're going to start with dry paper, and we're going to load our brush with paint, and we're going to start with a very hard edge at the top. And then you slowly dip your brush into paint or into water, and then you bring it down, dip it again in water. Got to control this water and move it down. Continue to bring that water down, and then you're gradually adding more water to dilute the color so that it becomes more transparent. And so just moving that water, diluting it more. The next is to drop color wet in wet. So we first have to get our paper wet. We paint some color, drop it in, let it flow as it may, and then dropping another color. I'm going to choose a color that has a likeness, another warm color like yellow, and then you would drop it in. So if you're working on a sky, you might want to drop color into wet on wet. See how that works its way in. A value scale from lightest to dark. We're going to start with color on our brush, dilute that with water, and start with a low value to get a tint. Then you'll gradually add more color into each square so that it becomes darker. Values should be getting darker with each addition of paint. Alright, so dry brush technique is brush work done on the dry surface of the paper. This can be for a lot of many reasons why you would want to do this, but it's basically like painting wet on dry. You might want to get some detail work. Have a lot more control. Hard edge is when you're wanting to get the outlines, the perimeter of a shape first before you drop in color. So really need to control your brush to make sure that you get those outlines and perimeters nice and precise. A soft edge is a fading or a disappearing edge. So in this case, you may want to do a wash on your edge, and then paint it so it slowly fades or disappears. And then we're going to skip masking fluid. We don't have any of that. And then blending two colors. So again, this time on a dry surface, I'm going to, whoops, start with my lighter color first. Whenever you're blending colors, you're always going to begin with your lighter color. And if you want a gradient effect, paint that light color and then add in the slightly darker colors. Just let those merge so they layer, blend. There you have it.